Hello, I'd like to welcome you to the somewhat unusual format of the AGM for the Friends of Hanworth Park House. The group was formed in 2017 and so far we've been pretty active. We've had 11 public events which involve car shows, London Open House, Christmas at Hanworth Park House, seed bombing, many community tidy-ups in Hanworth Air Park, and also on the Hanworth Park House site itself. Over 5,000 people have visited Hanworth Park House since we formed, and we're bringing the community together by putting Hanworth Park House back on the map. We've had a lot of news coverage on BBC London, London Live and Surrey TV in the media. We've been mentioned in national papers like the Evening Standard, My London and other local magazines. The house has always been used for, often been used, sorry, for music videos. We've had the Stereophonics and the X Factor finalist Tracy Lian. And it's also featured on Channel 5's Celebrity Ghost Hunt. It's apparent that thousands of local people support the restoration proposals for the house. And we are looking forward to that as we speak. So right now, I'll hand you over to the chairman of Friends of Hanworth Park House, Richard Griffiths.
Hello everyone, I'm Richard Griffiths, chairman of the Friends of Hanworth Park House, and welcome to the AGM of 2020. The past year has been busy, and as always, the committee meets at least once a month to plan and discuss how to see the future within the Hanworth Park House as a fantastic community hub for all to use. Last summer, we held the second successful classic car show and summer fair in the grounds of Hanworth Park House. We welcomed 2,500 who enjoyed all the local community groups, such as live music, classic cars, and of course to see the house. But unfortunately, we were not able to have the public in the house due to the ongoing decay, which has become too unsafe for the general public to roam. I would like to thank all the community stalls that supported us on the day, and to the owner for letting us use the grounds. Over the year and since 2017, we have been busy meeting stakeholders and advisors to plan what the community would like to see within the house. We have gone from just 3 rooms on offer in 2017 to now all of the house, with some being rented out to local businesses to bring in further income. We are progressing the wish list of ideas given by the public for improvements to the wider park, which we hope that will be included in the project. Richard Clark will talk more on this very shortly. Due to COVID-19, we have unfortunately, like many other groups and charities, have had to put public events on hold. Over lockdown, we have created a brand new website for the Friends of Hanworth Park House. So please do check us out and learn what we have been doing. You can meet the team, volunteer, sponsor, or contact us. We've seen well over 1,000 visits on the page since the summer, and we are pleased to see at least over 3,400 members on our Facebook page. The Friends of Hanworth Park House are due to hold a special one-off event with Aston Martin and Lagonda to meet up on site in April 2020. This was planned to bring back all the rare Feltham cars that were made at Feltham and Hanworth. We were in the final stages of having this, and we had meetings with Aston Martin and its drivers' clubs to bring the history back to Hanworth Park House. We were also in talks with the media coverage such as the BBC, Aston Martin magazines and the media department. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit just when we were bringing this together, which is now postponed, and we hope to create this next year if possible. 2021 will be a very difficult year for everyone, and at present we can't plan any more events on site until we know things will be safer. It takes many months to plan large events, so in the meantime, we have created a litter pick team to hold events on the park, which we plan to increase over the years to come. The first one started last month in September this year, and we welcomed 29 volunteers who collected 30 bags of rubbish. It was lovely to meet so many faces and some regular ones as well. We'd like to thank Blogolution, who offered us their support and advice, and they run events across the country, and it was very beneficial to have them on board. We'd also like to say thank you to Councillor Hanif Khan for Hanworth Park Ward who supported the litter pick with some equipment, advice, and tending to residents' questions on local matters. Also, thank you to the local Muslim community mosque in Hanworth Park and CB Hounslow FC for bringing support. Also, we'd like to thank Friends of Bridge House Pond for lending equipment and their knowledge, and to Hounslow Council for supporting us and collection of the rubbish on the day. Where are we now, you will ask? Well, the Friends of Hanworth Park House are embarking on an exciting journey to help with the restoration of Hanworth Park House and the surrounding parkland. Following advice from the Mayor of London in mid-November 2019, the Council with AGC Property, who's the owner, Gary Cottle, who will draw up plans, proposals and work towards submitting a planning application later in 2021. Funding for the restoration of the house will be supported by new homes on Hanworth Park House site called Enabling Project, and is supported by the Historic England and Hounslow Council. Public consultation will be provided in the coming months by AGC and the Council. The Friends of Hanworth Park House have been engaging with the communities and stakeholders on how the house will run and what should be inside as part of a community hub, which will be fully open for all to use. Lots of progress have been made over the last few years, and we'd like to thank you all for your continued support, which is really important for us to continue. I'd like to say thank you to everyone at the Friends of Hanworth Park House Committee for all the work they have done over the past year and since 2017. Thank you for the public support over the past year. Without this, we would not be able to continue as the Friends of Hanworth Park House Committee and to make positive steps towards saving Hanworth Park House and a better, wider park. I'll now pass over to Angela Small, Treasurer of the Friends of Hanworth Park House. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Hello everyone, I'm Angela Small and I've had the pleasure of being Friends of Hanworth Park House Treasurer for the last couple of years. As you know, we're a non-profit community group here to support saving Hanworth Park House. Therefore, we very much rely on grants, the community, businesses and the kind donations of individuals like yourselves. Whether that be by people donating their time to help plan and run our events, or donating money or items to support carrying out the events themselves. All of which are here to raise awareness of Hanworth Park House and bring the community together to showcase a little bit of the benefits of what Hanworth Park House could be in the future. I want to echo what Richard said, in that we could not have done any of this without the tremendous levels of engagement from everyone involved. I'd also personally like to thank John Gilbert, our Vice Treasurer, for all his work and the rest of the committee for their support, all of which is done voluntarily, in their spare time, and therefore has not cost us a penny. I'd also like to thank Gary Cottle, who supported us in a number of ways, including keeping our volunteers fed at our community events. Because of this, we have been fortunate enough to be able to hold all of our events as free for access for everyone that wants to attend. You won't be surprised to hear that a project as challenging as repairing Hanworth Park House comes with a great cost. Your committee have been working with many different stakeholders to explore different funding options to help support the ambition of bringing Hanworth Park House back to life and open its doors once again to the public. So for our second financial year, the period is the 1st of April 2019 to the 31st of March 2020. The income received for the period was £1,727.03, of which £696.03 was from donations and membership. Last year, we introduced another way to support Friends of Hanworth Park House by offering membership with benefits such as newsletters throughout the year. This was £5 per person and came with a wonderful free Friends of Hanworth Park House commemorative mug. We also set up a new GoFundMe page. £1,031 was from community events hosted by Friends of Hanworth Park House. As Richard said, we only held one in this financial year, and that was the Classic Class Show in 2019. For the same period, our expenditure was £1,160.99 and covered the following. We spent £28.51 on administration. Last year, we spent £350 on hiring of meeting rooms to host the committee meetings throughout the year. We have received £300 in grant funding towards that cost, and for 2020, we were very fortunate to have the use of the free meeting room throughout the whole year. Therefore, we had a substantial saving on our admin costs. So a huge thank you to Fair Homes for donating that room. We spent £574.45 on our community events. This was towards the cost of hosting that classic car show in 2019. And we've also invested in our Friends of Hamworth Park House brand and assets this year too. After many months of relying on the goodwill of others, we took the decision to purchase 2 gazebos and a Friend of Hamworth Park House banner. We spent £59.93 on website and £498.10 on memorabilia. As mentioned earlier, we purchased some commemorative Friends of Hamworth Park House mugs to mark the great work that we've been doing and to give something back to our members. So in summary, we've got bank reconciliation. The opening bank balance at the 1st of April 2019 was £3,011.99, plus the total income for the year, £1,727.03, less the total expenditure of £1,160.99, gives you a grand total of £3,578.03. There are always items that are included in the yearly accounts that are paid for outside of the financial year, and we had payments paid out that relate to the previous year of £112.50 and payments paid out after the year end of £215.47. Petty cash of £29, that left the closing bank balance at the 31st of March 2020 of £3,652. As you can see, we rely very much on our income from events and donations. Given the current climate and also the situation with the house, we're not able to host events for the foreseeable future. And so this bank balance will have to keep the work of Friends of Hamworth Park House going for now. For 2020, the membership is £10 per year. The membership fee goes towards running costs of the Friends and the work that we do. Full members have voting rights at the AGM. So over to the public really, if you've got any ideas of how we can secure funding for the future, or if you've got any particular expertise, we'd love to see you join our committee. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Angela. A key element of every AGM is the election of a committee. Last year we did it live in the Trinity Centre in Feltham. But this year, we can't, because of COVID restrictions, our AGM is being pre-recorded. So we've had to come up with an alternative method for re-electing the committee. Currently, there are 11 positions on the committee and 11 members are offering themselves for re-election to those positions. So there aren't any contested positions again this year. We have approximately 22 fully paid up members of Friends of Hamworth Park House, and each of them would normally have a vote in electing the committee, together with the committee members themselves. As we can't hold a live vote and there are no contested positions, we are proposing that the committee continue in position until such time that we can arrange a face-to-face meeting to validate this decision. This might be an extraordinary general meeting sometime in the next 12 months, or even if that's not possible, then at next year's AGM. The election process consists of 2 cycles. The first being a nomination process, which has to be notified to members in advance of the AGM. This has already been done, and the cut-off date was the 3rd of October, and no additional nominations were received. The second cycle in the process, which happens via a show of hands, is at the AGM. So standing for re-election are the following. For the chairman and the publication role, Richard Griffiths. Vice chairman, Peter Hughes. Secretary, Martin Thomas. Treasurer, Angela Small. Vice treasurer and also responsible for publications, John Gilbert. Events coordinator, Mariana Sutherland. Membership secretary, Akil Biswas. Park advisor, Reese Capri-Smith, financial advisor, Adiba Siddiqui, and general advisor, Jules Davis, and general advisor, myself, Mark Fielder. We thank the committee for agreeing to serve for another year, and we now consider them duly re-elected. 2 further members of the committee have stepped down, Rich Clark and Simon Robbins, and we would like to thank them for all their hard work and contributions during the course of the past few years. We'd also like to welcome our new committee member, Adiba Siddiqui, who will now say a few words to introduce herself to you. So over to you, Adiba.
Hi, thank you. I joined the committee and the Friends of Hanworth House earlier this summer, following some social media posts which really got me interested in finding out more about the house and its history. And I was very fortunate to meet Richard and Peter and see some of the ideas and plans to develop the house, and it's excited me quite a lot. Hence me joining the committee and wanting to see what the future holds for the house. So I would echo what Mark has just said. If anyone else is interested in joining the committee and wants to get involved, then I'm sure your ideas will be welcome, and you can get in touch with the committee. Thank you.
So thank you, Adiba, and welcome aboard the committee. So we always welcome new recruits to the committee, as Adiba said, and any of those who have particular experience on various roles, just let us know, and you'll be welcome to be considered. I'd now like to pass you on to Rich Clark for his presentation on our park.
Thank you, Mark. And I'm just going to say a few words. I've been overseeing the parks part of the committee for the past year, and Reese has been doing that with me, and he's carrying on over the next year. So just briefly to go through, reviewing the progress of the past year, the stage we're at now, and some hopes for the future. Great, so some of the things we've done over the past year is, as Richard said, litter picks and the plugging. Another success has been the continued establishment of the Hanworth Park Run. Unfortunately, over the past few months, because of COVID, that has had to pause and hasn't been able to run. But it's been encouraging to see a lot more people using the park as a result, lots of regular runners, and generally, as a result of clear-ups and individuals taking responsibility to do litter picks themselves, we're now seeing a better and cleaner park, and that's something which is the long-term aspiration for the park. Going on to see some more about what the future might hold, we've been talking to people about their ideas about what they might want the park to look like, and definitely seeing a series of improvements to tackle antisocial behaviour, but also to encourage people to use the park and explore different areas. That could be new paths, it could be improvements to the Longford River, potentially planting more trees in certain areas, and we've heard from many local users of horses who would want a bridle path. So we've sketched out some of those ideas onto some plans. There's some examples shown here and on the next slide, which show what this could look like. And we pass that on to the council. And as the council prepares its plans for the enabling development, there will presumably have to be some compensation to the park and some improvements to the park as a result. So these are an initial identification of some of the areas which we would want to see improved for those initial plans, and we hope there'll be further consultation around these. So thank you, it's been great to be involved in the committee, and although I'm stepping back this year, I'm still going to be involved in different ways, coming along to events and always around for advice and assistance. But as I also chair the Friends of Bridge House Pond, it hasn't been possible to continue doing both, so I'm stepping back to be able to focus on that. But, thank you, and I wish everyone well.
Good evening, my name's Peter Hughes. I'm the Vice Chairman of Hanworth Park House, and my main role has been to work out in a written format mainly what we're going to do with the house going forward. So if you can imagine, there's two broad aspects to this. One, there's been a very large campaign and a lot of lobbying to get the house saved. So that's involved the local community, London Borough of Hounslow and a Greater London Assembly. So primary objective is obviously to save the house because it is a historic house and of value to the local community. The second objective is, having saved the house, what do we do with the house? What goes on inside? Now, I've been really collecting all these ideas and all these requirements of the local community and putting that into a big wish list, and then putting that into a format which makes sense as a community benefits proposal. That proposal has then gone back to our own internal use, to our own committee, also to the Hounslow Council, and also the Greater London Assembly, so that we can basically have credibility, have a structure. Then people like the accountants, and the treasurer like Angela can kind of make forecasts, the sources of income from AGC, i.e. Gary Cottle, he can see what we're proposing. So to recap on some of these ideas, which have been discussed over the last 2.5 years, bearing in mind this is always what you might call a moving target. Some of the broad brushstrokes, let's say, are to have a museum on the ground floor, because as you may have realised, you've been following this project, there's a huge amount of history involved. That will tie in with the education centre, which will be on the same floor, school groups, but also for lifelong learning for adults. That would also tie in with the club room, so that primarily adults using the building in the evening can also tap into that education centre. On the upmost floor, having workspace. That's the main emphasis of that would be arts and crafts studios, but also to help business startups. So particularly if you consider the current situation with the pandemic and the fact that particularly the western end of the borough may be facing an increase in unemployment, we have to respond to that thinking, well, how can we help that challenge, and how can we be ahead of the curve in providing the sort of facilities that are going to help people get themselves back on their feet, not only financially and employment-wise, but also in terms of morale as well. That's not to be overlooked. Also on the ground floor there, we're very keen to have a cafe restaurant in one of the nicest parts of the room, which is for the general public. So 7 days a week, people can come into the house and enjoy that facility. Also connecting to there'll be a permanent exhibition space, also a ballroom and function rooms, which will be either used for sometimes free events, sometimes corporate events, sometimes for ticketed events. And then also upstairs to have a members room, which is mainly a way of giving back to those who have helped in the involvement of the building itself. So moving forward, so those are the basic things. As I've said, we have this structure which we're telling to all the various stakeholders is what we want to do with it. Plans will have to adapt in this rapidly changing world, particularly in terms of internet connections, so that we can have maybe live streamed events if we can't totally rely upon real events. The other big issue which is going forward at the moment is whether we should progress as a charity or community interest company. So particularly as Richard has already mentioned, in terms of looking for people to join a committee, people who have got skills or knowledge in setting up a charity and what's involved, or setting up a community interest company and what's involved, will be very useful to us. Also, people who've had experience in getting grants, because yes, we have earmarked funds to get the project up and going. However, given the ambition and the scale of the project and the expense involved with a very large historic house, we know already we are going to need to get additional funds and grants. And so expertise in those fields will be very useful. So those are the main points I wanted to cover at that point in time, but we are always on the lookout for additional skills to bring to our committee. I think that's about it. Thank you very much.
So we'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's helped us over the years. There are a lot of groups, individuals. We can't go through everyone individually, otherwise I'll be here for a very long time. But in general, thank you for the public, the charities, the community groups around us that have all supported us. It's been really great to get to know you over the last few years. I'd like to say thank you to Richard Clark and Simon Robbins for their continued work over the last few years. As Richard Clark said, he's heading up Bridge House Pond, so we'll be in close contact with Richard. And thanks for the public. Without the public, we couldn't do this without you. We've been really appreciated with all the support and all the funding that you put our way. And we've put all our ideas together from all the surveys we've done, about 700 surveys from you. So all your ideas have gone onto that screen plan that you just saw that Peter was talking about. So really thank you for that. And I'd just like to say this is now being posted on Facebook. So this is your chance to write any comments in the bar below. Us on the committee, we will feed back to you, answer your questions. And as always, please hold out. We are getting closer. I know I say that every year, but we really are getting close. And there is going to be a meeting in the next few weeks in London. And hopefully that will progress on into the new year with a public consultation. That's it from me. So thank you to the committee. Thank you for everything for the past year. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future. Thank you all. Bye.